For years we've been saying that player housing has a potential to drive massive amounts of playtime if it's done right, and Blizzard kinda just proved it. It's even had the housing lovers in our guild literally log into the game this week and start blasting tons of content, just to prepare for when housing eventually drops. So, let me explain. Last week, Blizzard dropped a post finally revealing the most important part of player housing, how we're actually going to get the stuff that we put in our houses. And honestly, it was music to most of our collective ears. It was really good. Now, while they didn't say directly, the takeaway is they want us to feel like player housing has been part of the game this whole time. So while you watch today's news, go and stockpile as many old reagents as your warband bank will fit. Now, Blizzard split it into 3 principles, right? Progressive journey, meaning that it's not something that you rush to finish when it drops. This whole thing's a journey, so for people who want literally everything, it is going to be, in Blizzard's own words, quote, incredibly difficult. Now, they don't necessarily mean extremely hard content, though they are going to put some rewards behind Mythic Plus and Raids. They mostly just mean their raw time investment, which is to say, there's a lot of stuff in this. The next thing then is core gameplay with variations, which is saying items should come from basically everywhere. Housing is going to bring loads of new activities that we can do, but as a whole it's going to integrate with everything else that's in the game. So as an example, say there's an item you really want. Well, the process of chasing that item may end up with you doing quests, doing professions, or even hitting up some instances. So essentially, there's a hell of a lot. Then third, the big one. Reverence for the past. Blizzard says they want your entire account history to feel respected when this feature launches, so you're not starting out from zero. If you've spent the last decade or two being an achievement hunter, maxing out reps, clearing all the raids, you'll basically log in and you'll have access to tons and tons of housing items. That progress will actually count. And the finer details all match up with this principle. As an example, take Mechagon. If they add something that's heavily Mechagnome themed, it's going to be native to Mechagon, which, if my read of their intent is correct, means that there could be, say, a vendor in Mechagon. It could perhaps require achievement or reputation progress and be purchased with spare parts. Of course, spare parts were the currency from Mechagon. So the point is, it's going to feel integrated with stuff that already exists in the game. Basically, as if housing was there all along. Now, the degree of that, obviously, we won't know until it's out, because they say that they're going to continue fleshing out past expansions as they go with this feature. Now, that's led some of my guildies to basically go on an old content spree, just working towards old achievements and reputations that they may have missed, because Blizzard wants to make sure, and this is quoting them, all the time in Azeroth is worth something. That's pretty cool, and specifically, they call out meta achievements. Now, we've got the Dragonflight meta, the Shadowlands meta, and the BFA ones all in the game right now, and patch 11.17 adds in the Legion meta achievement. Those, by the way, are definitely going to have housing decorations attached, so yeah, you've got maybe the next 9 months to do those meta achievements, which honestly is enough time, but man, some of them are really involved. We get other hints through the screenshots in the article. As an example, they show Anixia's head as a reward for not just killing her, but from more dots. That's the achievement to kill her in under 5 minutes. That's a reference to a fairly legendary raid leader rage video from back in the day. Now, if that's the kind of thing that we can expect, then just raid clears won't be enough. We may actually want to start working on the glory style achievements that exist for those raids instead, which is pretty cool. So if you're missing any of those, it's probably worth going back and clearing those things up ahead of time so that whenever this feature drops, you've just got a bunch of cool shit to put in your house. Now, thankfully, Blizzard are not falling into the trap that they did with mounts back in the day. They are trying to avoid frustrating drop rates like with Invincible or the Ashes of Alar. That's going to be especially huge if you want, say, a massive house, because they've also revealed that decorations are single-use items. So if you want to set down 4 chairs, you're going to need to get yourself 4 chairs. If you want 4 chairs in your Alliance house and maybe 2 chairs in your Horde house, then you're going to need 6 chairs. Now, they only showed off one actual item drop in their images, and one is the Argusian Crate. It's from the last boss of Seat of the Triumvirate. So basically, if you want to create an Argus-themed, I don't know, warehouse for some reason, with all these crates, well, that's the thing that you'll need to go and farm. Now, I know for some people this could feel a little bit like, oh, okay, so it's not just infinite customization, go mad. Yeah, it's not that. It's not like, say, Minecraft creative mode. But look, Minecraft builds matter a lot more in survival mode because you actually build it by hand. I think doing it this way is absolutely the correct move for a progress-based MMO like World of Warcraft. I have to imagine items got from achievements will work differently, but think about it this way. If you put in the effort to fill your house with copies of something, maybe expensive, maybe farmed, you can be kind of proud of that effort. Basically, you can kind of flex, gloat to anyone that you invite in. Another great thing is crafters and gatherers, right? They need to stay busy somehow, and that could be the hugest bit of news here. There's a lot going on for professions. Now, sadly, there's no new profession like woodworking. I would have loved that based on my RuneScape days, but instead, they're going to use the long history of existing professions to their advantage. It's fairly neat. This screenshot that they shared shows some classic inscription, right? It gets a recipe for a Brill coffin and a Brill coffin lid. Now, the coffin lid uses some existing classic materials, but it also uses a new one that's called ironwood lumber. Yeah, there's lumber that matters in the game now. And the post says you'll need to gather this new type of decor reagent, but there's no details on how yet. If they added wood cutting to the game, I think playtime would increase substantially, if RuneScape's anything to go by. Thankfully though, there's no wrong choice on professions here. Every crafter will be able to craft decor, blacksmiths will be able to make metal things, obviously, jewelers will be able to work with stone and gems, enchanting makes magic items like floating books and glowing orbs for your house, so go and level those old profession levels now. They will actually be useful. You can prepare for player housing. So, until Blizzard picks, say, another random day to go and drop a humongous glut of news, that's it for housing for now at least. You can stockpile old reagents, you can level up your old crafters, and you can clear out those meta achievements. And if you don't want to do those things, at least you can rest easy knowing whenever you log in day one, holy shit, you'll have a whole bunch of things already unlocked for your house. And if I'm thinking about this from the business perspective, Blizzard probably loves the idea that a World of Warcraft player who remembers their heyday of Wrath of the Lich King, well, if they return to the game, say after a decade, for the player housing feature, and then find that their house is stocked full of things that they earned 10 plus years ago during Wrath, that's a compelling way to get someone to resub. Let's move on with the news. We have a huge but brief update on the Dinars situation. So last week, we talked about how Blizzard are stubbornly insisting that Dinars are for raiders only. Well, this week they actually acquiesced. Dinars will now come from either 4 raid bosses or 4 Mythic Plus runs, and the vendor will now include Mythic Plus trinkets as well. This is a huge win for so many players, massive improvement. They basically heard the feedback loud and clear. Now, there are still restrictions on myth level gear, so for Mythic Plus, that's going to be timing every dungeon at plus 12 or higher. But it does mean if you want your Giga Signet to carry into next season, well, you know what you have to do. As if the pace of news couldn't be even more insane, well, patch 11.1.7 is up in the PTR, and it's big, surprisingly big. Now, we already dropped a video on the biggest news, which is the rotation assistant and the one-button rotation thing. So go watch that video, but there's actually tons more to cover, including things that, well, are actually surprising. We'll do a full deep dive into the PTR once we've got some more hands-on playtime, but for now, here's basically what we're looking at. The patch is called Legacy of Arathor, and it's named after the story campaign that we're getting. Basically, tensions between the Alliance and Horde are somewhat growing in the Arathi Highlands, so we need to go there and put a stop to it. It's got some elements and rewards that are unique to each faction, so if you've got 2 characters on either side, then you'll get a little bit more out of this. They even said that there were some, story decisions you can make. That does seem kind of cool. Plot-wise, it's not any big Hallowfall Arathi or Beladar lore, but we'll be there with Faerun, and I'm sure we'll get plenty of little hints on how the Arathi Highlands differs from, of course, the Arathor Empire that she is from. That'll be fun. But then, and much more importantly, we have a new feature, and this feature is called Lore Walking. So, these are curated quest chains, where Lore Walker Cho takes the player around different points in WoW's lore to learn everything there is to know about any certain topic. Now, there are 3 in this patch. They're focused on Arthas, Xal'atath, and the Ethereals. And rather than just reusing old quests, which is what I had assumed, these are actually adding a bunch of new quests and a bunch of new lore. So it's a properly exciting feature. The Xalatath and Ethereal ones are absolutely huge, so expect some lore coverage in those as soon as we've got it ready. There's also another one that was found in the data mining that's about the elves as well, so if you need to catch up in your elven history before midnight, hopefully that will have you covered. Much more on all this later, but this could be one of the best features that WoW's added in years. We've been long complaining of the lore being outside of the game, right? That sucks. Now it isn't, and Blizzard are doing it in a way that's not just dropping a bunch of text. No, they're actually making quests. I think this is a great feature. If Blizzard can add to this regularly, then it'll be a fairly genius way to get more narrative content into the game and a real good framing in the form of the Lore Walking faction, Lore Walker Cho, to just keep on making content. Okay, there is one more thing though. The last bit of new content coming is Overcharged Delves. Basically, it's a way to give Delves an extra lease of life towards the end of a season. There'll be new affix coming to some Delves and a new tree of traits to progress to counteract that added difficulty. And for your effort of clearing these, you will get a massive Titan Disc belt and a new mech suit mount, as well as some upgraded rewards across the board. And lastly, we're getting some more tier set recolors. The Diablo event, which was called Greedy Emissary, is coming back. It's got some tier sets data mined. Blizzard posted some as well. Of course, as the PTR develops and more data mining is done, there will be so much more to bring you. But until then, our last segment, what you can actually do this week. This week, it's the Darkmoon Fair. An extra 10% rep is going to go a long way while you're farming out all of those old reps for your housing or maybe leveling up some alts for your designated crafters. It's also time for new trading posts, so log in to check it out. The Drust weapon appearances, I think, are the highlight of this month for sure. They look awesome. There's a Fox outfit that's really great as well. Right now, it's also Battleground Week, so if you want to farm out some honor with comp stomps, now's your time. And that's a fantastic way to pick up old transmogs. Just, yeah, really good way to power farm out Marks of Honor. Looking forward to the next reset. It's going to roll over to the Delve event. That means you can smash out some bountiful Delves, and because you'll get more Delve progress, that'll get you closer to the Nightfall Sanctum campsite reward, so definitely make use of that. As for other usuals, well, we're going to be staying at 5 Catalyst charges this reset, considering that, you know, we only just got one, though we will be getting our 12th half spark. That brings us up to a total of 6 crafted items. So if you're happy to spend the gold and farm out the crests, you can bring a fresh character to an absolutely absurd item level through crafting alone with 0 RNG required. Now, unfortunately, we are still 2 resets away from the second wave of this patch, which is the Turbo Boost event. That will basically make gearing, well, faster. It will extend the the upgrade track in your gear. It's going to bring Dinars, and most importantly and excitingly, horrific visions. So, a lot to look forward to. It's a shame about the launch of the first part of this patch, but hopefully Nightfalls are going to be a little bit fixed up so that, you know, you can go to the event and have your character actually be assigned things to do. Anyway, that's it for now, and if you want to dive deep into what's happening with Blizzard finally tackling add-ons in a substantial way, watch this video next. It's actually proper exciting.